Okay, hey guys, Mike Lawson here. Happy Saturday and welcome to another edition of some live business coaching and Q&A. Do me a favor, let me know where you're watching from. We are streaming live on YouTube, so if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe below and click the like button or give me some love. It'll help the algorithms out. If you are inside the academy or in the community, let me know as well. And ask any business related questions that you may have, anything that's going on, anything that you want to discuss and share. Let me know. But I'm going to go over a couple topics with you guys that I think is very relevant in the times that we're in right now. I don't know about you guys, but let me know how you feel about the younger generation and their work ethic. Do you believe, and if some of you guys know that my son is 23 and my daughter is 21. Now, I'm actually proud of both of them because they both are workers. But I'm finding that many of the younger generation don't want to work. Some of you guys may have seen my post. It was 2 weekends ago now, right? Because we didn't do a Q&A 2 weeks ago. But, I was down on the Jersey Shore, and everywhere you go, there's a shortage of workers. And everyone's asking you to be patient. There's signs in the windows, please be patient. We're short-staffed. I don't get it. Like, it's not making sense to me why there's a shortage. Now, even before this whole pandemic, right, like my pet peeve has always been waiting in line for anything. And it's not that I don't know if bougie is the right word. That my daughter taught me that word, but I don't know if you walk into a grocery store and there's 10, 12, 15 registers, right? But only 2 are open. Now they have self-checkout. And you see people that are waiting in line just to check out. Like, I don't get it. You have 15 registers, but only 2 are working, and people are waiting. Like, to me, that's just poor customer service. And I noticed poor customer service way before the pandemic. Now with the pandemic, it's, no one wants to work. I don't know if it's the government just giving them money, unemployment. So now everyone's just lazy. I don't get it. I've always been a worker. And I don't understand how, number one, there's anyone waiting in lines anywhere. Now, I can see if you're just extremely busy, and that's a great problem to have. If you're a business owner and you're just like let's say you have a pizza place and you can't keep up with demand. That's different. But not when you have 15 registers that are wide open, but only 2 people working. It doesn't make sense. And then you look around and you're like, there's a worker down in that aisle. And there's another worker over there sitting on their phone. I don't know. So I don't know. Is it parenting? Is it poor management? Some of these places would not want me as their manager. I'm just a big believer that when you work your butt off. And I've been very fortunate to be self-employed since 1999, so 21 or 22 years now. Been very fortunate. And being self-employed, we don't take breaks. Like, self-employed people entrepreneurs don't take breaks. Like, you don't take, you might be working home all day and you'll go grab a cup of coffee or something. You walk away from the computer for a minute or something, but you don't go take a smoke break. You don't sit down for 30 minutes. I don't get it, but I'm hearing it more and more. Some of the friends that I'm talking to, their kids are a little bit younger than mine. And it just brought up this question: is the younger generation just flat out lazy? Like, this seems like there's no work ethic. And then, I go on to, Google, because everything is, you got to believe everything on the internet. But, the first thing that comes up, now this is 5 years old. It does say millennials are actually workaholics. So what's the generation after millennials? Because maybe there's another generation. Okay, maybe it's not the millennials. I always thought the millennials were lazy, but according to Harvard Business Review, they're not. They're actually workaholics. So what's the next generation under millennials? Well, let's find out. Google, what is the next generation under or after millennials? Let's see what Google's Gen Zs. Okay, let's see. Gen Zs. Okay. Um, Starting with birth years in the early 2010s. Well, 2010s, I mean, 2010s. So right now, yeah, they would be what? Yeah, they would only be 12 years, 11 years old. So that doesn't make sense, right? There's not too many 11-year-olds. There's not too many 11-year-olds working right now. So I can't, I can't blame them. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on that because it just drives me, I don't know, insane. Okay, that's not really what I wanted to talk about, but anyway, that's where we went. But so inside of our missions now, inside of the Social CEO Academy. By the way, if you're not inside of the Social CEO Academy, here's a 14-day free trial. Go ahead and jump in there because October's mission is all about building a foundation for goals and achieving your goals. And our first mission last week was starting to build a foundation for goal achievement. Now, and I did go live inside of the community. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go back and watch that. I'm telling you, this information, this is $1 million information. And this is kind of what brought me up or brought it into my mind. You see a lot of, again, younger kids, and are they reading? Are they paying attention? Do they read? Do they read books? Do they read some of the books that we've read? Chances are not, because everyone's on their phone. They just want it instantly on their phones. But I promise you, the stuff that it's inside of the Social CEO Academy is $1 million information. And it's not just stuff that I say, oh, yeah, this is great. It sounds great. You can learn it. But it's stuff that has worked, not only for myself, but very, very close colleagues of mine. And it didn't happen right away, but I'm seeing it happen faster, quicker, rather for more people in a shorter period of time. But anyway, we start talking about a goal achievement system and some strategies. And see a lot of coaches, life coaches, goal setting coaches, a lot of people, and there's some good stuff out there. You just got to be careful, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. But one of the most important things that are missing when some of these people that I see that are teaching you on how to set goals, right? They teach on how to set the goals. And to me, that's the easy part, right? I have a goal. I want to make $1 million. I have a goal. I want to buy a house. I have a goal. I want to buy a car. I have a goal. I want to retire my mother. Like, there's some great goals. Okay. Write them down, right? It's one of the biggest things that you can do is write it down. So setting the goals is very easy. The hard part is achieving the goals. So yeah, you can write down your goals every single year. And there's power in that. Don't get me wrong. There's power in that and looking at them. But without taking action, you're never going to achieve them. So how can you set yourself up for success? Because I used to fail over and over and over. Every year I would sit down New Year's Eve or the day before, or even New Year's Day, I would sit down and I would write my goals out. And there were many years over and over. I just felt like a failure because I was never getting closer to my goals because I didn't understand the secret to achieving them. And if you want to know the secret to achieving them, it's belief. See, I never really believed. If I'm going to be honest with you, I never really believed it in my heart that I was going to be successful. I wished it. I hoped for it. I did have faith, but I didn't believe it. And my faith wasn't that I was going to eventually be successful. Well, I guess it was. My faith was that I was going to learn how to be successful, if that makes sense. Because I didn't believe that I was just going to become successful one day. My faith was that I was going to learn how to be successful. But I didn't have the belief. And it wasn't until I started to hang around with people that were doing bigger things than me. They were making more money. They had a stronger work ethic, a better work ethic. Like, they weren't going out on Friday nights like I was. They weren't partying all weekend like I used to do. They just had and I learned from each one of these groups, in each one of these seasons, I should say, because I believe everything happens in a season. All right. There's different seasons of life, right? Things might be going really bad for you right now. I promise you it's a season. Things might be going really, really good for you right now. I promise you it's a season, right? No different than what happens right after summer. We're coming out of the summer months here in the States. What happens after the summer? Well, it's fall. And what happens right after fall? It's winter. What happens right after winter? It's spring, right? Winter, if you're like me, you hate winter. I hate it. I can't stand it. I don't like the cold. I want to be on the beach. That's just me. By the way, are you a mountain person or a beach person? Do you like the cold or do you like the heat? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just a beach person. But what happens right after winter? Well, it's spring or summertime, right? And it happens year after year after year after year. Now, if you're one of those people, one of the few that live down in Belize where it's 84 degrees every single day, that's your average. Okay, well, you might not understand the cold weather, but I promise you there's different seasons, right? And depending upon what season you're in, there's like if it's bad right now, it's going to get good. And if it's good right now, it's going to get bad. Now, you want to minimize the downside and you want to maximize the upside. Well, how do you do that? In my opinion, it starts with belief, believing that you deserve more. See, the reason why most people fail when it comes to their goals is because they never learn how to develop the skill of believing that they're actually possible. One of the skills that I learned was, I don't know if this is necessarily a skill, but it's seeing it in your mind, right? It's visualizing it. When I was an early entrepreneur, there was a group of us. We all lived together. We were in network marketing together. It was great. We used to take drives. Some of us would take drives down on like this very, very rich area, very wealthy area in the Philadelphia area called the Main Line. And we used to drive down this one road, and you're talking like mansion after mansion after mansion. And we used to literally just drive up and down and visualize it and see it and dream it and then talk about it. And like that stuff got me excited. Now, I know not everyone's into that stuff, but from where I came from and where I was in my success journey, that stuff did it for me. And again, if I'm being honest, it was exciting. I saw possibilities, but I never deep down believed that I could live in that type of house or in that type of neighborhood. And that's why, because I didn't believe it, right? I had a traditional business and I was building my network marketing business on the side. So I had two incomes. And I remember this one year, it was like the best year I ever had in both my traditional business and in my network marketing business. And when it came to network marketing, well, even my traditional business, that year I would do things to screw it up. Like I was self-sabotaging my business because I didn't believe that I deserved it. I didn't believe that I could have it. Like I wasn't, and you've heard me say this before, my fear wasn't failure because I failed many times. I didn't mind failing because it was comfortable. I was used to it. As weird as that sounds. My fear was success. So the closer that I would get to success, or when I started to have success, I would sabotage it. And it just sounds silly, doesn't it? But it's all a learning process. It's all a season of your life. And a lot of the stuff, when we used to drive down and see those houses and look at cars and do the dream boards and all that stuff, yeah, it was exciting. But it wasn't, to me, it felt inauthentic because deep down, I never really believed that I was going to achieve that. Now, I wished and hoped for it one day, and I thought it was just going to happen overnight. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen overnight. But all that self-doubt and frustration, it would creep back in. And then I'd find myself starting over and over and over again. And it wasn't until I got around the right people that helped me see more of myself than I saw in myself. And then I started to put plans together that actually worked. It wasn't until that things really started to help. And I just want to share a couple of those things with you. Number one is setting meaningful goals, right? So it was having a different plan, but it was, two primary reasons why so many people get stuck is that they don't set meaningful goals. So you want to set meaningful goals. Like, what is your meaningful goal? So For me, yeah, I always wanted to be rich. I always wanted to have a lot of money, wanted a nice car. But that stuff wasn't meaningful. Here's when it became meaningful. Being a single parent, wanting to take care of my two kids, right? I went through a nasty custody battle for years. And I just wanted to, when I was with my kids, not only did I want to be able to afford my child support payments, which seemed like they increased every year, and I never had a problem with paying child support. It was just, I believe it. Some of those laws should change and where that money goes, but that's a whole nother training video and legislation. But I wanted to be able to be a stay-at-home dad. I wanted to be able, when I had my kids, and it was so difficult, right? I was very blessed, right? Because it could have been so difficult. Even though it was difficult, it could have been worse because I was very fortunate that I was able to stay home with the time that I had with my kids. I was able to stay home with them. I was able to pick them up from school and take them to school, and I was able to do that stuff that if I had a job, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to spend, that quality time with them. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I would have made it work. I'm sure I would have, but it would have been a lot more difficult. But it was that meaningful goal that pushed me every single day, every day when I didn't feel like doing it. When I didn't want to make the phone calls and I didn't want to make the follow-ups and I was scared to public speak and I had a fear of getting up in front of the room and all these fears crept in. That's what helped me push through them. It was because I had a meaningful reason. It was my children. And the other one was I always wanted to retire my mother and take care of her. She's been working 2-3 jobs since she was, in her mid 40s, and it's tough when you don't start working until you're in your 40s, right? And those were my meaningful goals. And once I started to focus on them, that's just what gave me the drive to keep going and keep going. That helped. So the second one is the reason why most people fail is they ask the wrong questions. Okay, they let me pull that up. Where's that at? Yeah, they ask the wrong questions. Okay, they set a goal and then they ask themselves, "What would I need to do to achieve that goal? Like, what do I need to do? Okay, so I want to be a stay-at-home dad. I want to stay home with my kids. What do I need to do? I need to work more. What do I need to do to retire my mom? Well, I need to make more money. I need to work more." And because that's immediately where people focus on the actions, they usually don't get started because most people, right, that's what stops them is that taking the action. See, success isn't a matter of doing, it's a matter of believing. It's a matter of believing and being that person. It's not what do you need to do, it's who do you need to be. Your actions don't create results, it's the beliefs. Yeah, you can go out, and work and make that happen. But again, something's gonna sacrifice when you don't believe, when you really don't believe it. You're not gonna feel fulfilled. You're not gonna feel happy. You need to be that person. You need to be that stay-at-home dad. You need to be that person that retires your mother. You need to be that person that takes care of your spouse. You need to be that person. Because if you just get caught up in working, and it's just that mundane of work, where I just got to work, I got to work more, I got to work more. Well, that can actually become a problem, right? Instead of being an entrepreneur, right? Going from just being a worker to being an entrepreneur, it's where you want to focus. It's a matter of being. See, most people, they ask the wrong questions. They're like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to make this happen? Now, it seems legitimate, right? It seems like that's reasonable. It seems like that's a question that you would ask. All right, well, what do I need to do to keep my spouse home? Well, I need to work more. Is that really the answer? Well, working is great, but is that really the answer? No, I need to be an entrepreneur. I need to build a company, right? You're thinking so small, and I used to too as well. All right, I need to make $2,000 to keep my spouse home, or $3,000, or $5,000, whatever that number is, right? You'll go out and do it. But you're not being that entrepreneur where you can build a company and make 10x that. That's what you need to become. It's about being, not doing. And think about this, like, how would someone act that already has that. How would they believe and feel and act? How would somebody act if you already did that? Like your goal is retire your spouse and keep your spouse home because whatever reason, they have a medical condition, they don't feel, they're sick or something's wrong. How would somebody act and believe and feel if they were that person that could retire their spouse, to bring that spouse home? And I've met people over the years in network marketing that have brought their spouse home and the people that they needed to become, right? Because just going out there and working, it may happen, but it's just going to take a little bit longer. But becoming that person, reading the books, networking with other people, getting around the right people, it's a different situation. And it's about becoming that person, because once you become that person, that's not going to go anywhere. You're going to have that forever, and that's what you want. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time more than anything. Do me a favor, drop any more business-related questions or comments in the section below, and I'll make sure I go back and get them answered. And if you want information for the rest of the lessons, jump into the Social CEO Academy. Here's a 14-day free trial. bit.ly/social CEO free trial. Jump in there, and we're going to be going over the rest of the missions for the month of October. And I'll see you guys next Actually, are we going to do next Saturday? I'll let you know. We might be doing Friday. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.